Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I am so happy to be back with another video today. Today I'm showing you how to make a bit more of a personalized card. I don't make those often, but I thought with these greatest hits dies from Concord 9th, it would be really fun to make a more personalized card for the recipient. Now, I cut a couple of pieces already. I cut 2 of the vinyl record pieces, and one is from a metallic black cardstock, and I also added the debossed detail to that. I'll show you that in a second. The second piece I cut was just the vinyl record. I didn't bother to deboss that with the detail. That is the detail, so it doesn't cut around it. It's just a fun way to deboss those lines in there. I put both of those together so you wouldn't see the ugly cardboard piece on the back of that metallic vinyl record. And then for the center, there are 2 pieces you can cut. I just cut the largest piece, and that is where the record label usually goes. So I am painting the Beatles record label on their Apple records. I just painted an apple. I didn't try to make it look exactly like the apple that's usually on there. I just made sure it was a nice green. There wasn't red on there, so yeah. It doesn't really belong with the Imagine vinyl record, but I thought it was a nice touch because the Imagine record, I think, just has some white text on the record label, and I just wanted to have another nod to the Beatles because I knew the recipient would like those. I'm painting those on the black cardstock. I'm painting the apple on the black cardstock with some metallic paints from Finetech. If you can't find Finetech, search for Coloro. I still don't understand what their name is now. I think it depends on the region where you buy it. So, yeah. But I just mixed a couple of colors. I just made sure that I had a darker green, a lighter green, and a very, very light color for the highlights. I also mixed a brown for the stem of the apple, but overall, this was the most time consuming part of this entire card, just painting this apple, because Finetech paints don't really act like watercolors. It's a lot more work to make them blend together, but in the end I managed, and it didn't have to be perfect because it's just going to sit in the record sleeve. Yeah. So about the record sleeve, I wanted to replicate the Imagine record sleeve. I didn't want to print it because my printer kind of sucks. So I just printed a black and white version of it, and I'm going to use that to trace the image and the title on my actual record sleeve. So I cut that out just so I could make sure it lined up nicely. And I am on the back of the printout, I am just covering it with pencil, and that is going to press into my record sleeve when I trace over the image. So this is a great way to trace something. I'm just tracing over the printout, and the pressure of the pencil is going to push the pencil on the back of that printout onto your cardstock. You can also use a light underneath your cardstock to trace it. I didn't want to bother with this. I think this is the easiest way to trace something onto thicker cardstock. I also do this a lot if I want to trace something onto watercolor cardstock. This is basically a way to make your own carbon copy paper. I cut out the Lennon from the John Lennon signature, and I put that underneath because there is some text underneath the sketch image. It's too tiny to trace, so I just put one part of the title underneath. And I only put the Lennon because this card is going to Lennon, who was actually named after John Lennon. And to add the colors, I am going to use my Ohuhu brush markers. This is it's just more tracing. I sped this up a lot. I actually fiddled with this for a little bit because it's a very sketched image. It has a very sketchy style. So I wanted to make sure that there was some line variation in my lines as well. Usually when you trace over something, your lines are going to be a little bit more perfect than they were in the original, and I wanted to avoid that. So I made sure to have some variation of pressure while I trace this image, and that is going to make sure I have some thicker parts of the line and some very, very light parts of the line as well. If you want, you can print out any image of a record sleeve that you want and just use that as a sleeve. I like the handmade feel, so if I were to replicate another record sleeve, I would probably just paint it myself and try to make it look like it should. Yeah. Now there are some flaps on the record sleeve, so to really make it a pocket, and this is perfect because I need a place to put some money in this card as well. So in the end, I am going to use a little piece of washi tape to add a just a money bill to the back of that vinyl, and yeah, it's perfect for a little gift card too if you want to include a little something with your card. For my background, I wanted to include all the beautiful rainbow colors that are in that John Lennon sketch just around the edge of the panel. Now, I knew I was going to use the sprays because they are so vibrant. I really, really love these Distress spray stains. Like all the other products, they will be linked in the description below so you can check them out. And they are so, so vibrant and so easy to work with. I love them. And when you spray them on the side of your cardstock, inevitably you're going to get some really tiny flecks of colors in the center of your cardstock as well. If you want to avoid this, just put a little piece of paper in the center. But I didn't want this cardstock to be white in the center because the record sleeve is already white. So I really like those little flecks of color there as well. Especially because this is watercolor cardstock. You need to make sure to use these sprays with some watercolor cardstock. And that's always a little off-white, and that doesn't really match my white record sleeve. Now I am checking if there is enough color to set apart or to really back that white record sleeve. That's why I held that over there. I heat set that, and then I'm going to die cut a little detail in there with the For the Record die set from Concord 9th. This is part of that record collection. I really, really love all the vinyl stuff that Concord 9th came out with last month. I can't wait to make more cards with this. So this just cuts out a little burst and a little star. And I'm going to cut that above where the record sleeve goes and below as well. I just tape that in place with some purple tape, and I leave that record on there to make sure those are where they should be. You could measure it out. It would probably be more accurate because I don't think mine are on straight. In the end, no one is going to notice either. I'm going to glue that onto my top folding white card base, and I also die cut those little stars from some gold glitter cardstock. It's going to be a tiny detail, but I'm going to inlay those just to put some shine on this card because I didn't want to add embellishments here either. Now, the one downside of these Distress spray stains is that they are going to stain your fingers for ages. They don't dry completely for a very long time. So when I put this through my die cutting machine to die cut that starburst detail, I also put a piece of copy paper on top so my die cutting plates didn't get dirty. And while I pressed it onto my card, I also used a piece of copy paper to protect my fingers from more stains. I adhered the record sleeve with some foam tape that makes it easier to grab out the record as well. So yeah, this is a really, really fun card. I am very happy with how this turned out, and I hope the recipient liked it as well. I really like that I cut the vinyl record out of some metallic cardstock. I don't think vinyl records are that shiny, but it is better than some regular black cardstock, I think. It's the little details that make the card just shine a little brighter, I think. So I hope you like this card. I hope you like the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What record would you replicate for the front of a card? And yeah, I hope you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. And if you do, then I hope to see you next time.